So good afternoon, gentlemen. So I'm Peayush Agarwal. I represent Smarr Realty. We were earlier known as V3S Group, and we have close to 8 malls running and operational in Delhi. And we are owners of 2 hotels. One is Crown Plaza in Rohini, other one is Holiday Inn in Gurgaon. We are coming up with 4 projects in New Gurgaon. Currently, we are operating 2 high street markets in New Gurgaon. One is Sector 83, one is Sector 90. And by God's grace, all of our properties are more than 98% occupied. I got close to 400 tenants in all my properties in Delhi and Gurgaon collectively. And I presume they are doing well because they are paying rent on time to everybody. So they should be doing well, right? Yeah. And yeah, but they are good people. I'm sure. And Devang is one of them. Yeah. So as regards to the new properties coming up, so in Sector 82A, we are coming up with a centrally air-conditioned mall. It's a 4 lakh square feet development, which would be supposed to be a first mall in New Gurgaon, centrally air-conditioned first mall in New Gurgaon. And we have announced in PRC that we should make it operational by Q4 this year. So that is in the finishing stages. Apart from that, we got a 12.5 acre of land parcel. It's a commercial land parcel on main multi-utility corridor, again in New Gurgaon, which is a 400 feet wide road. And that's going to be the biggest real estate destination in New Gurgaon. So no other developer is coming up with such a big development. So that we are coming up with 3 phases. So one of the phases would be made operational next year. And year after year, you know, all the 3 phases would be made operational. We also plan to come up with a hotel in one of the developments in Sector 89, where we are coming up with 3 projects. So that would be a 256 rooms Westin, what we are already talking about. And to add on, we are also coming up with a resort property in Sona, JW Marriott we have tied up with, and that's already in construction. And, you know, we target to make it operational in 2027. So this is all about me. Thank you, guys.
Quickly, yeah. Okay, so, hi. Harshji, welcome. Okay, guys, quickly, my name is Sanjeev. Hanji. And, sir, बहुत कम time है, खत्म करने दो. ठीक है? So now it's been 30 years that I've been in retail. It could be only his. Whoever it is, we'll figure it out. So 30 years in retail. I've started with RPG retail, which is Music World, then moved to Planet M. Was with, I mean, a whole lot of y'all have seen me doing hypermarkets with Landmark Group, which is Spar. Was with Raymond. In fact, Harji looks at me as if he's seen me like when I was a kid. Hopefully, yes. And yeah, the last assignment was that. Making you sound older. Of course, he is old. Okay. I'm going to get it in the evening. But long story short, I was last as the CEO of Being Human, left in 31st of December last year, doing my own projects right now in villa development in Bombay. And yeah, so that's how it is. I have my own software company, my family business based out of Kolkata. We are one of the largest design company for NHAI and the Ministry of Transport. And that's what I manage now as the CEO. And I'm here trying to understand how to moderate this diverse biggies of the industry today.
We'll give a prize to whoever keeps the introduction the shortest. So quick one, I'm Anuj Kejriwal. I think I know most of you guys here. I mean, 20 years in the industry, started my career with Chesterton, which eventually became JLL, and then some of us kind of branched out and started a small startup called Anarock. I run their retail division among some of the things, and I'm your host for today, so welcome.
Yeah, hi, I am Sudhanshu, and we are, I think, one of the youngest builders in Noida, Greater Noida. We started in 2019 with the project, which was a 25 acres mixed use project. And we delivered in March 2023 despite COVID. And now we are coming up with one more similar development. We see that area, Greater Noida West, as a wonderful space. We are getting a lot of encouraging results there, both for ourselves as also all the associating brands, and we hope to take it forward there. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sudhanshu. Hi, I'm Jatin. I represent Omaxe. We are a 37 years old real estate company into development. Have delivered close to about 35 million square feet of just commercial space, includes malls, high streets, hospitality. And in the next few years, we'll be developing close to about 25 million square feet of retail development spread across different cities. Majorly, we're launching a new project right next to Harshji in Dwarka, in alliance with DDA. That's a one of a kind of a project. We're developing an outdoor stadium of 30,000 square feet, 30,000 seating capacity, where all the IPL matches that you see today in Firozshah Kotla will probably move to the new facility of Delhi. And an indoor stadium of 6,000 seating capacity with a hotel and a club, along with the retail, which is a mix of high street and a mall. 80% of that mall is actually on the ground floor. So it's a high street environment, but in a comfortable environment. So that's a new concept we're coming up with in Dwarka. Apart from this, we're working in all the spiritual towns in North India, starting with Vrindavan. We're coming up with the first mall of Vrindavan, which is again a non-air conditioned high street mall spread over 2.5 lakh square feet. And we similar projects in Ayodhya, in Prayagraj, in Lucknow, Amritsar, Ludhiana, and Chandigarh. So these are the few new destinations we are going to be building. And looking forward to learning a lot from this session more than contributing, I believe. Thank you so much.
Hi everyone, I'm Himanshu Kwatra. My company name is Western Living Private Limited. I'm from Ludhiana. I'm coming up with the biggest high street commercial project of urban Punjab, that is approximately 27.50 acres. That is purely high street market, and it is a heart of city in South City, Ludhiana. So we are having approximately 600 showrooms, standalone showrooms. We are coming up first phase with 200 showrooms that we will start possessions next year in April. And I'm creating downtown in Ludhiana. I'm having 7-acre land reserved for 5-star hotel and 12-acre land reserved for high-rise apartments surrounding my commercial project. That's all. Thank you so much, everyone.
Hello, I'm Harsh Bansal. So we started commercial development before the time I started coming here. In the year 2010, I started coming here. And my brain was washed that if you want to do retail development, you have to do retail development only with the leasing model. But never it happened. Everybody was asking, then give me the capex, then only RS, then revenue sharing and XYZ. But we started serious retail after attending this images only. So now we have few malls in the name of Unity in Rohini, Janakpuri, Delhi, Panipat. And now we are coming in the same name in the NSP. Besides this, we have Vegas Mall and one in Mohali CP67. Now we are coming with the new mall in Model Town, which will be the first Kotur and Pret. Kotur मुझे बोलना नहीं आता पर क्या बोलते कैसे बोलते हैं? सही बोला यार. Kotur and Pret Mall.
Hi. Devang, you're the only taker in the room. Yeah, that's what, because I have something to win, right? I'll keep it shortest. So I run the I run the multiplexes and I sell expensive popcorn. That's it.
Thank you, everyone. My name is Salil Gupta, Director CRC Group Noida. हम लोग कुछ अच्छे रेजिडेंशियल प्रोजेक्ट कर रहे हैं और भगवान की कृपा से कुछ का नाम वर्ल्ड में शामिल होने के लिए तैयार हैं और मिक्स यूज़ डेवलपमेंट, ITITS, रिटेल, होटल्स और एक हयात हाउस का हमने टाई अप भी कर लिया है 127 स्वीट्स. एक फर्स्ट टाइम हयात हाउस इंडिया में इंट्रोड्यूस हो रहा है विच इज़ अ लार्जर फॉर्मेट ऑफ हयात और एक करीब 5.7 लाख स्क्वायर फीट का एक्सपीरियंशियल रिटेल डेवलप कर रहे हैं विच इज़ ए बॉक्स अनबॉक्स इन ऑर्गेनिक हाई स्ट्रीट, ज्वेलरी स्ट्रीट, प्रपोजल पॉइंट, ऑर्गेनिक नेचर पार्क का कॉम्बिनेशन बहुत सुंदर सा आ रहा है. अगले साल तक तैयार कर रहे हैं. इसी तरह एक्सपीरियंशियल हाउसिंग अपार्टमेंट भी डेवलप कर रहे हैं सुपर हाई एंड रेंज की. गुड़गांव में जिसका नाम आता है उससे थोड़ा सा ऊपर लाने की पूरी कोशिश है और ला भी रहे हैं. तो ये हमारा परिचय. शायद उससे थोड़ा ऊपर जाएगा सर. जी जी, मैंने कहा थोड़ा सा ऊपर जाएगा, थोड़ा सा ऊपर. हाँ, थोड़ा सा ऊपर ले जा रहे हैं.
Great. I think let's start off. We've spent some time on the introductions. But Bipin, let me start with you, and we'll get the ball rolling. But I think the point is that let's jump in. I think a lot of you have mics. My request is we have a lot of people to cover, and I just want to make sure that everyone gets an opportunity to speak. So let's put thoughts on the table, but let's put pointed thoughts so that we exchange ideas and we move on pretty quickly. Bipin, I'll start with you because you did mention that. You'll give us some character on why you did what. And since our topic is on the retail design, retail experience, I'm saying what really made you build the plan that you built out. And like I said, it's one of the most beautiful plans I've seen in my life. What made you do that? And this is probably 10, 12 years back that you guys envisaged it. So what made you really do that?
Firstly, I think, hello, yeah. So firstly, I think one of the things that was why in that city, because we got the first opportunity to go there, and I think that's what prompted us to go.
No, and that was always also a time where I think that tier 2 boom conversation was kind of happening.
I think a lot of credit goes to our partners from the UK. I think they had done this whole cycle of 30 years, and they realized that over a period of time, what has worked, especially in outskirts of the city or tier 2 cities, is
just to mention the partner he's talking about is Liberty.
Into properties limited.
Into
UK.
Liberty became into, right?
Unfortunately, they've gone bust in the UK, so they went into administration. But I think what they told us was that in a city where land is abundant, why do you need to go vertical? I think the first thought started with that. So when there's land, why do you need to go abundant, vertical? And that's where the thought of ground plus one. The second was that, I think from another point of view, because these were regional centers, the thought was that we need to create centers which are easy to navigate, lots of parking, because people are expected to come from satellite towns. So you need lots of parking because the weekends go crazy there. Even today, on the weekends, we cross about 70,000 odd footfalls on a week, on Saturday, Sunday. So I think that was what was, sort of, everyone else was doing, most development had come in metros, so they were all doing vertical centers. So I think that was one of them. The second part they said is consumer experience. You can't have shops carrying their cartons around, and we were retailers also, Provoke.
This Provoke turned Prozone.
So this was, something we realized that wherever we had stores, we were filling our stores from the front. Cartons were left on the floor because there was no other space to load, unload. So I think that's something, our experience of retail, their experience of retail real estate is something which we realized, and we followed them blindly because we said most successful mall development company in the UK, they must have done something right. I think that's what prompted us to follow. Now coming back to the flip side is that I think in India, retailers didn't value what we did or what we provided. For them, this was, वो आपने दिया, हमको तो चाहिए नहीं था, हम तो आगे से भर देते. तो So I think that is where it started. So, you know, your costs go up to maintain these additional spaces. Um, we in fact offered them small warehousing spaces, so they used their merchandise spaces for merchandise and not for back stock. They didn't take those also. We had created small 100 square feet rooms that people could take at a lower charge, and so that they could utilize the entire carpet for their merchandise. So we realized all that was still nascent and
But
didn't
Bipin,
happen.
just in the interest of time, and we
Yeah.
keep moving on. My only point is that we keep saying that number one, in my mind, it was a leased asset. The
Yes.
intent was never to sell.
No.
We keep saying that we want to build malls for 15 years and 20 years and 25 years, and I take your point that probably nobody valued it then.
Yeah.
But my sense is if you build for 20 years, I'm sure today people value it, and over the next 10 years, it'll get valued.
So I mean, definitely today people value it more than they did earlier. There's no doubt about it. But what has really happened is that, fortunately for us, we ran the mall very tightly. Otherwise, the back was broken. I mean, when we started to 2015-16, almost pumped in 100 crores in terms of corporate money. So I'm saying not many people, because we had very strong partners, we were able to
Navigate
manage
it
that
and go past
process.
it.
Otherwise, not very
Got
easy.
it.
to
One
process.
quick question for you is that assume you built Aurangabad, Coimbatore, and it was a two-level asset. If a two-level asset did, let's say, 1,000 TD, if you think you split it over 3 levels, how much would the TD have fallen?
In my view, honestly, it wouldn't have fallen. It wouldn't have fallen.
It wouldn't have fallen.
It wouldn't have.
So then you made a mistake.
I think that's what I said, that in India, and if the third level was multiplex and food court, it wouldn't have fallen.
If the part of it went up.
Yeah. So if you
But
had two
Devang
levels,
would have asked you for escalators from the first floor going to the second.
yeah, well, he can ask for anything. He's the boss. But I mean, whether we would be able to give it or not is a separate issue. But I'm saying, in all honesty, if we had built it over 3 levels, with third level being entertainment and all, our TD would not have fallen.
Super. Nimish, I'm going to come to you, and I think a lot of learning. So you can give a little bit of a longish answer. You probably ran one of the most successful malls in the country by far. I'm not going to take names, but what did, and it's a district, there are enough and more in the vicinity. What in your mind did you do so differently that others did not do?
So it's a bit of a cliched answer, but
That's
I
okay.
would think that we did not lose focus and sight from the focus on the consumer and how we defined the consumer 17 years ago. We still keep the focus there. We want to run a mall for the South Delhi woman. 70 to 80% of the shopping of a household is done by the woman of the house, whether it's for the kids, for her husband, etc. So we did not lose sight of that. We wanted to create a space which was making sales. We consciously, so we did everything to keep that customer in mind, whether it was putting the lady marshals in the basement from the day one to make them comfortable coming inside the mall and parking in the basement, walking with a bag with cash and making that comfort to go shopping around. Having clean washrooms. We renovated washrooms 4th year or 5th year from opening.
With the lady marshals, were there enough men also coming?
Oh yes, of course. But again, just coming back to that aspect, that avoiding loud events, avoiding superstar events with huge crowds, which actually, from a retailer's perspective, they are not welcome. They may bring volume of people, but they are not shopping. They are actually making sound, and they are. The South Delhi woman wants a more comfortable, peaceful environment. वो 12 बजे से 2 बजे तक before उसका बच्चा घर आ जाता है वापस, उसको उस समय shopping करनी है और उसको शोर और तामझाम नहीं चाहिए.
She doesn't want to be maneuvering.
So some of those finer details, and I think just evolving with time and being dynamic to address their needs. If they bought, let's say, an X brand then, and maybe they need a Y brand today, and I'm, again, for the purpose of the group, I'm not taking names, but intentionally just evolving with time and being dynamic. And I think just hearing the customer. Again, like I said, it's a cliched answer, but just consciously. And the other thing I think that helped, that we as owners had our ears and eyes on the ground, and all three of us were consciously talking to our friends and connecting and giving that feedback to the team and making sure that those feedbacks were implemented. Somewhere also in a larger corporate structure, I think sometimes those things don't penetrate, or it gets hit by bureaucracy and stuff like that. So there were things that we fixed overnight and got things going and stuff like that.
If you thought about it, you could implement it rather than it going through a system and a channel.
Exactly. So that was one, and I think another very big aspect of it is, in a question that you had sent on the group talking about longevity. I think we as developers have to spend a lot of time on design and looking at design from a very, very long-term perspective. I don't think we a lot of times do end up spending too much time from longevity in mind. COVID changed the need for wider corridors. COVID changed the need for having more open spaces in the mall. People wanted to be more closer to nature. So there were so many such things which maybe COVID taught us, but we built a third basement which was not even required by DDA at the time. उस समय वो DDA ने 2 बेसमेंट से हमारा पार्किंग रिक्वायरमेंट मीट हो रहा था. आज वो तीसरी बेसमेंट gave us 80,000 square feet extra FSI, which our next door neighbor is not able to implement. And that third basement is
Sorry, who's your next door neighbor?
So, but I'm just, so just simply, I think looking at long-term and planning that design from the beginning. And today, I think wider corridors is a norm that is needed. I think most of us are developers here. It's, God forbid another virus comes in from some other part of the world.
I hope not.
I hope not, but
I'm just hoping that the ceiling doesn't fall, the missile doesn't hit.
But yeah, I think focus on design.
You done? Yeah. Okay. So as we keep moving around, there's just one thing for everyone here. What is one great learning that you have had through this project, and what is one not so great learning?
So I think learnings are a lot. I think
What
focus.
would you highlight the?
So I would think that focus, not losing focus, that the retailer is making money and doing sales. No, keeping that as the center point. Think a retailer mindset. Like even while we were developers and charging rent, I think keeping the eye ki retailer maal bech raha hai ki nahi bech raha hai. We used to regularly send mystery shoppers to brands which were not performing well, give feedback to their management. Stuff like that.
All 4-digit rents.
Sorry?
I'm saying all 4-digit rents you are charging.
Not really, but okay.
Later part, But anyways, so one is this. And what is not such a great learning which you would like to share with us? Which is something that you wish you could have done better?
So I think I would have liked more F&B spaces with outdoor terraces. Maybe also integrating the entire sales ecosystem into a technology platform from the start. The manual collection of sales and that whole part of it is something that I would have addressed differently.
Good. Guys, I'm going to still suggest let's try and keep the answers a little shorter so that we kind of keep moving on. Peayush, quick question to you. You did say that you have a numerous number of malls and then you continue to kind of build. Just in 2 or 3 minutes quickly, given the number of assets you built, and it's a learning from Nimish, he was there, they looked at clients every day, which is why they could improve, and a lot of us may be doing it, not doing it. How do you plan to maintain the experience across assets? What's the mantra to maintain experience across assets?
Yeah, so Anuj, that's true that we have built quite a reasonable number of malls, and those are being maintained well. And I feel, first of all, let us talk about the basics. That why do we build malls? We build malls so that retailer can do business, and how a retailer can do business when there is a good footfall, when there is good convergence, not just about opening the shop. It's about, you know, customers coming into the mall, experiencing something that they want to come again to that place. There could be a one-time mover to the mall, but if he or she does not get a good experience, then I don't think they would come again, because they have many other options to go.
No, I agree. So how do you maintain that experience?
So basically, we try to give a, you know, proper mix into the mall. So much so in today's time, other than the traditional method of, you know, getting occupied the development, we also try to do a mixed-use development. Like in Gurgaon, where we have a high street retail. It's not a mall, but we have good brands, as well as we got a hotel there, right? So I see, and that is now operation from last 5 years. So I see that the commercial complements the hotel, and the hotel complements the commercial, because it's a 263 rooms hotel. So whoever who's coming first day in the hotel, they are going shopping, they are going eating, they are going for dining into the mall. They got multiplex there also. So weekend occupancies are good, and even weekdays during nights the occupancies are good, because people from the hotel who are staying, they want to go to the movie or want to go to dining. They are using those developments. So giving a mixed-use development, you know, makes sense, and it caters to the immediate catchment in the locality, as well as people who are coming from, you know, outside cities staying in the hotel can also utilize. So
can I summarize what you're really saying is that a mixed-use development ideally complements the other asset class?
Yes. I just want to give you one more example, that as I told you that we are coming up with 3 developments in 12.5 acres of commercial. So recently, what we evaluated, earlier they were only commercial. But now, in one of the developments, we are coming up with a 10 floors of office spaces, luxury office spaces, high-end office spaces. And the third one, we have recently introduced a hotel, 256 rooms hotel. So the objective is that, you know, anybody who is coming to that 12.5 acres commercial real estate is getting all sort of experiences. And the retail part will also get the captive customers of the offices and the hotel, which would be built in that area.
No, so, well understood. Yeah. Quickly, Devang, I want to move to you, since you're the only client on this table. You know, one is, and I have 2 questions. One is targeted at them, and one is targeted at you. And guys, one more quick request. Can we keep the answers shorter? Otherwise, none of us will get a chance to kind of speak. You know, one is, towards Asia, I see that multiplexes have become 5 and 7 star hotels. You know, whereas which is not the case on the other side, and you know, you come from the other side. What is India really wanting 5-star hotel cinemas? Because I mean, you spend so much on capex. Again, I'm talking about counterparts. I mean, cost of running goes up, cost of operations goes up. I don't think the ticket price can change, nor can the content change. So which way should the industry go? That's question number 1. And question number 2 is, what's really the expectation from a retailer perspective, and assume none of these guys are on the table. What's the expectation from a retailer, not on rents, but what is your expectation from a developer to give a better experience so that you as a retailer can do better?
Thank you, Anuj. This is not what you send as a question here while on the chat.
Yeah, but I assumed you'll have the answer for this here.
Okay. So this is the first one. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, let me address this first question on higher capex. You know, cinema is a business which is ever evolving. Many of Western territories, including Mexico, Peru, Brazil, let's say these Southern American, they are learning from what we have done in Asia. So it's not something which is that, you know, we are changing the cost structure drastically by making 5-star lobby. It's not required. I mean, if you go to many of our properties in India, we have been very mindful on not spending those flashy amount on the lobby. But nonetheless, it doesn't cost that much.
No, I've heard of screens being made at 2 crores a screen going up to 12 crores a screen.
Yeah,
So I'm saying there is a gap somewhere, right?
No, so let me speak about myself. None of our cinema is built beyond 4 crore per screen. So we have not built any cinema beyond
Guys,
4.
point to be noted.
So, and we've been quite vocal and we've been sharing our balance sheet with them. So now I think all of them would agree to us. So that's what the capex is required, and 70% of them is fixed in nature. Meaning we don't want to compromise on the projector, sound. I mean the experience on F&B, toilets, no compromise. The technology and the chair that we are importing is nothing but the best. The 3D equipment that you want to give is nothing but the best. So those are the things where people really come for that. Every time they come into the chair, they have to get nothing but the best chair in the house, right? So that's something which is with zero compromise.
No, so does it, let's say you build a 5-star and you build a 3-star. I'm just saying hypothetically.
Yeah.
Does occupancy change?
Yes.
To what extent?
It depends. I mean, it's a very open question. I mean, it depends on which market you are.
I mean, let's take examples in the same micro market.
Let's say you build a 3-star and you're competing with a single screen. You'll still do better than the 5-star.
No, so I'm not saying you're not compromising on inside screen. So your seat quality is the same, your sound quality is the same, your content is the same. Let's say your food is the same. I'm saying the lobby outside is a 5-star and a 3-star. Does it change occupancy?
It does. Like I said that, there are people and there are audience, let's say 20% of your audience do come for experience and they want to be seen. It's like you're building a courtyard or JW, will the attendance and the occupancy of the hotel change? The answer is yes. And the same way we are driven by content. So the basic need is content. People will come to consume content. But then that outing becomes more experiential. And like I said, that when I'm saying that 3-star and 5-star, my range is 20% difference, not the 200% or 700% that you spoke about from 2 crore to 14 crore. No, that's not what
mine is hearsay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's not. Well, I know that few of the operator might have done it. I don't know whom, but we don't do it, and I don't think it makes sense.
And is it true? Can I say that? And I'm happy to take a quick hands up here. In my opinion, given that I have a great cinema, just you're in the room. I'm saying it could be A, it could be B, it could be C. But I'm saying usually what I've seen, provided it's a great cinema with clean toilets, good seats, you do land up going to the cinema closest to your house. I mean, that's the generic rule. I mean, you don't skip 2-3 cinemas and go to the 4th one at a distance because the content is the same. You're giving a hotel example, but the hotel, I'm saying the food that you're going for is different everywhere, which is what you're consuming. Here I'm consuming the same content regardless of where I'm going. So I'm saying I usually don't skip a cinema. And which is why my question was that does a larger experience or a more expensive experience actually change the moviegoer from skipping you and going somewhere else?
Actually, comparing with hotel, you're giving the same bed, right? I mean, the bedroom is same, and the food difference is same difference at us for us also. I mean, what kind of food offer does make a lot of difference on why you pick. Like, I mean, talking personally, we have seen in many surveys that if you don't have, let's say, a non-veg food or this food option is not there, we will not come there. I mean, those kind of complaints, because let's say in Gujarat specifically, we've opened cinema in one of the best mall, and then the mall owner wanted that, please keep it vegetarian because we are in Gujarat, and then we had huge complaint. So going back to your principal question, 20% cost capex differentiation, if the affordability there in the catchment and the propensity to pay is there, I think we should go for it. Definitely not 700%. That 20%, will it generate more visitation? I think yes, and I think it does make a difference when you give them the experience better than the two.
So let's conclude this, that an slightly incremental spend gets you better footfall. Question number 2, what's your expectation from these guys as a tenant in terms of the experience they should deliver, which will help you get better sales?
I think, we definitely want to be in the best mall in the right retail mix. But when you look at, as a cinema, it's our responsibility to get the footfall. So idea is that we play as an anchor, and we have seen that even during the dented cinema phase that we are going through now, one movie like Chava comes and the entire retail number goes up for February for all the retail, for all the retailers and eventually for the mall. So it's our responsibility to generate mall footfall, and we go hand in hand with malls. One thing that I believe we can change for cinema is the parking. So how can we, make sure that, because when you are going for a movie, you are always late, and that's what, again, the service is. So if we have the better parking facility, which is well connected with the cinema space and the cinema foyer, it will only help generating more footfall. Like how we have learned in the past through design that the cinema exit should go in the food courts, whereas the food court sales increases. Likewise, the entry experience for cinema, because now they don't come and buy the tickets, everything is bought online. So it's like they're always at the last minute. If we have the parking facility which straight goes to the cinema and have a easy parking for them, it will make a lot of difference in their experience.
So, Devang, quick question then. A 5-screen cinema in a 1 million square feet mall, or a 5-screen cinema in a great location in a 50,000 square feet where inside outside is easy?
Both.
Okay. Harji, I'm going to move on to you. More screens. Harji, I'm going to quickly move to this. And you did mention, I mean, there's a journey where, you were building retail real estate and at some point of time you were doing strata. And then you moved to this model of kind of doing leasehold assets. What's the mistakes you made then? And there were natural mistakes then. And why did you move to leasehold assets? Why did you think that it was important to move from strata to leasehold?
First of all, this is a nice way to meet friends, because यहाँ पर कोई audience नहीं है और वहाँ जो audience है कोई सुनती नहीं है.
सर यहाँ पे मैं आपका audience हूँ.
तो इससे अच्छा है कि जो सुनने वाले ना हो, आपस में कुछ पिकअप पे लगा लो, वो बेटर है. तो कमिंग टू योर क्वेश्चन, एक्चुअली मैं कहूँगा जो हमने पहले किया और जो अब कर रहे हैं, तो बोथ आर एक्चुअली एंटायरली डिफरेंट. रिटेल डेवलपमेंट इज नॉट ए रियल एस्टेट ओनली. The one part is real estate, it's operational assets. So if you are developing a retail mall, you should be seriously about retail mall only. Otherwise, in Gurgaon, there is no second mall in Gurgaon. Gurgaon is developing like anything, and you have many commercials are developing. Still, the Ambience Mall is not the only one. कुछ नहीं भाई, कोई टी कॉफ़ी की ज़रूरत नहीं है. तो secondly, अगर आप रिटेल में ही आना चाह रहे हैं, जो आपको सोच समझ के आना चाहिए, बिकॉज इसमें सबसे कम पैसा है. रेजिडेंशियल डेवलपमेंट में सब जानते हैं कि क्विक मनी है, फास्ट पैसे है और ज़्यादा पैसा है. रिटेल में लॉन्ग टर्म पैसा मिलता है, जैसे इनको मिला है अभी हमारे दोस्त को, भतीजे को. तो नहीं सही है, इसमें क्या है. तो उस टाइम ये 500 करोड़ का एसेट था, अभी उन्होंने सुना 4500 करोड़ पे छाप दिए हैं. तो लॉन्ग टर्म जो है अच्छा है. लेकिन अगर आप बात करेंगे रिटेल के लिए, तो दिस इज़ द ओनली मॉडल, दिस इज़ द न्यू नॉर्मल और दिस इज़ द नॉर्मल रादर. मैं सबको बोलूँगा कि रिटेल आपको करना ही नहीं चाहिए अगर आपके पास लीजिंग मॉडल का पेशेंस नहीं है. तो
सर ये अभी 25 मिलियन स्क्वायर फीट कर रहे हैं सर.
ये इनका मॉडल डिफरेंट है. ये 9-10% एश्योर्ड रिटर्न पे माल बेच रहे हैं. इनका मॉडल बिल्कुल डिफरेंट है. मैंने इनके ब्रदर को भी बोला, मोहित को भी, अब टाइम आ गया है, आप चाहे 5 लाख फुट का करो, 7 का करो या 8 का करो, आपको एक रिटेल डेवलपमेंट करनी चाहिए. अगर आपको एक बार वो टेस्ट लग गया, अब देखिए निमिश को सिर्फ एक मॉल से पूरे इंडिया में लोग जानते हैं, उसको 25 मॉल की ज़रूरत नहीं है. एक्चुअली सही बात है ये. 1 मॉल इज़ एनफ. आपका एक अच्छा बच्चा कमाओ पुत्र बढ़िया हो, वो काफ़ी है. तो अगर आपने अच्छा क्वालिटी काम करना है, वो एक मॉडल डिफरेंट है. आपने जो बेचा और आपने चर्निंग की पैसे आगे लगाए, वो भी सही काम है, पर ये मैंने इसको नहीं कहूँगा. बट इंडिया को अब अच्छे रिटेल मॉल की ज़रूरत है. एंड जो हम जिस लाइन में अब चले गए हैं, अब BOT पे प्रोजेक्ट्स लेना, अब जतिन भी इस लाइन पे आ रहे वाले हैं, इसमें मजबूरी हो जाती है कि आपको बेच नहीं सकते और इसलिए आपको वो अच्छा करना ही पड़ता है. इन माई शॉर्ट एंड सिंपल आंसर इज़ दैट अगर आप सीरियस हो तभी आप रिटेल में आओ. अदरवाइज़ तो आप शॉप्स बनाओ, बेचो शॉर्ट रिटर्न पे या बिना शॉर्ट रिटर्न जैसे भी, और आगे चले जाओ. रिटेल बनाना है तो आपको रिटेल सीरियसली लॉन्ग टर्म इज लाइक ए होटल, इट्स लाइक ए ऑपरेशनल एसेट्स. तो आई विल से 25
You have to look into it every day.
या. तो जैसा निमिश ने बोला कि हम हर चीज़ का छोटे ध्यान रखते थे, एक चीज़ वो भूल गए कि आई थिंक दे वर द फर्स्ट वन जिन्होंने लीज मॉडल सोचा था बिफोर द इमेज इज इवन. तो इसके बाद ही लोगों ने सोचा कि रिटेल लीजिंग मॉडल है. इनके पड़ोसी जो मैं नाम ले देता हूँ MGF वाले, वो अच्छे लोग हैं ऐसा नहीं है, बट उन्होंने उस टाइम एसेट्स बनाया सेल मॉडल, और डिस्पाइट ऑफ देयर लोकेशन इज मच बेटर देन द सेलेक्ट, ये सब जानते हैं कि दे आर ऑन द रोड, बट बिकॉज वो लीज स्टेटस सेल था इसलिए वो चला नहीं। एंड इनका मॉडल लीज मॉडल था, रेवेन्यू शेयरिंग मॉडल था, एसेट्स ऑपरेशनल एसेट्स था, डे टू डे वो इन्वॉल्व थे, इसलिए चला। तो सही एग्जाम्पल यही है, आपको कोई ज़रूरत नहीं रिटेल बनाने की, आप सेल मॉडल बनाइए, आप रेजिडेंशियल बनाइए, आप ऑफिस बिल्डिंग बनाइए। अगर रिटेल बनाना है तो सीरियसली बनाइए, अदरवाइज उसका कोई आइडिया नहीं है।
I think just wanted to add a small point here. There are two very different business models. One is of churning of capital, where you are selling. This one is a much longer, very patient. You need lot of, first of all, you need a lot of capital on the table, and you cannot
because you're really putting in everything before you kind of start to take out money,
yes,
right?
and there are situations that you go wrong also. I mean, it's not like everything is a success. We have also built an asset where we put everything from a leasing perspective. It was an office asset, but maybe wrong location or wrong market, and we have had our challenges. And later we had to even think of selling strata. So things can go wrong. I mean, we are here in a closed group, and I can share openly that it's not like everything you touch is gold. So going the long route and putting capital on the table has its own advantages, disadvantages, and I mean, successes and failures are there in both kind of stories.
एक थोड़ा सा मैं ऐड करता हूँ इसमें, 20 साल पहले एक्चुअली ब्लैकस्टोन टाइप लोग नहीं थे। आपके पास दो ही ऑप्शन थी पैसे घुमाने की, या तो आप इसको बेच दो या आप इसको रेंट लगाकर एलआरडी करो। अनफॉर्चुनेटली एलआरडी में आपको कैपेक्स का जो है, जो आपका इन्वेस्टमेंट है, उसका 1/3 भी नहीं मिलता। तो लोगों के पास कोई ऑप्शन नहीं थी कि आप कुछ बेचो, कुछ चलाओ। अब अच्छी बात यह है कि जब आप मॉल बनाते हो तो आपको उसको चलाना है, एंड एंड ऑफ द डे आपके पास एक एग्जिट क्लॉज, एग्जिट है कि आपके पास देयर आर 2, 3, 4 people.
I mean, till about 7-8 years back, you didn't have an exit.
Yeah.
I mean, if you see today, I mean, I'll probably say the top 5. I mean, most of the larger multiple mall developers in the country today, in some way, are private equity backed. I mean, otherwise they're not. That's what I'm saying. They're private equity backed, institutional capital, or they're public. I mean, it's either one of the two, right? Otherwise, there's no way to have this kind of patient capital to scale.
अनुज, मनीष, जो अभी मनीष कह रहे थे, एक्चुअली थोड़ा मैं एक बस 2-3 मिनट ही बोल रहा हूँ, स्पिरिचुअल से शुरू कर रहा हूँ। वी कम विद नथिंग, वी वांट एवरीथिंग, लीव एवरीथिंग एंड गो विद नथिंग, विल नॉट कैरी। तो जो ये सेंस ऑफ रियलिटी है, हम सब भूल जा रहे हैं। नॉर्मली जो हो क्या रहा है हमारे देश में, हम गड्ढा भरने के लिए प्रोजेक्ट करते रहते हैं, जहाँ से पैसा उठ जाए उठा लो, जिससे आज लगता है रिटर्न पे बिक रहा है, इस पे बिक रहा है, पुराने गड्ढे भरने, नया मिट्टी उठाओ और भरो। दिस इज लार्जली हैपनिंग इन द कंट्री। व्हाट सर सेड, इट्स डू सम सीरियस बिजनेस ओनली, लाइक होटल इट्स अ फैंटास्टिक बिजनेस, you get 57, 58, 60% GOP if you do good, but capital लगेगा, फंड से लेके बना लो, बेचो नहीं, and it's very prestigious business. दूसरा क्या है, appropriate business with appropriate money, how much can we do, why we should do, ये सब एनालिसिस रिसर्च की बातें हैं भाई। कहीं भी मॉल खोल लिया, कहीं भी कुछ खोल लिया, यार बिक रहा है, उसमें 4 डीलर मिल गए, उन्होंने गर्म कर दिया, आधा माल हम बेच देंगे भाई, कर लिया प्रोजेक्ट। तो आज रिटेल में ज़रूरत है सीरियस इंटेंट वालों की। यस, मैं 5 अच्छे प्रोजेक्ट करना चाहता हूँ, मैं कोई इसमें ऐसे नहीं अपनी बात कर रहा हूँ। सपोज माई सन इज, आई एम वेरी सीरियस फॉर द होटल बिजनेस ऑल्सो, आई हैव डन 2 hotels and I'm sure I'll do only 6 for my son and daughter, that's all, but good hotels, appropriate, good, first class, 60% GOP में टीम को क्या रहे है, 8 साल में 60% GOP पे लाओ इसे, that's all.
You're saying basically that any business that you're doing, be serious about that business, don't do it for the sake of doing it.
That is the way.
No, understood.
रिटेल में भी जैसे वो ना बेच दिया, नहीं बेच दिया, कुछ भी ब्रांड लगा लिए, करना है तो जोनिंग करो, रिसर्च करो, एनालिसिस करो, वहाँ के बंदे कितना खरीदेंगे, क्या ब्रांड लाएंगे, क्या रिटर्न निकलेगा, क्या मैट्रिक्स बन रहा है, वो फीजिबल है कि नहीं है, 10 साल में कौन से ब्रांड मरने वाले हैं अगले 5 साल में, उसकी लिस्ट भी होनी चाहिए, कौन से नए जिंदा होंगे, कौन कौन से फॉरेन से, और हमारी जनरेशन ही आ रही है तो ये ब्रांड और आएंगे। तो वो आप जैसे, मतलब आई हैव वर्क विद शेल लॉन्ग 17 years, वहाँ हर साल हर प्रोडक्ट की 50 ईयर की 50 ईयर्स एनालिसिस होती है एवरी ईयर कि इन प्रोडक्ट केमिकल्स पेट्रोकेमिकल पॉलीमर्स का 50 साल में क्या डिमांड सप्लाई वर्ल्ड में होने वाली है, हर कंट्री में, हर सिटी में, हर जगह. दैट इज़ हाउ डीप, दैट्स हाउ दे आर नंबर, मतलब टॉप 10 में आना आसान नहीं है. तो इसी तरह रिटेल बिजनेस में भी हर लोकेशन की, हर जगह की एनालिसिस परफेक्ट हो, रिसर्च हो, डिज़ाइन पे जैसे ब्रदर ने बोला, डिज़ाइन पे जैसे पॉइंट लिखे हुए हैं, डिज़ाइन एनालिसिस क्या चाहिए यार अगले 20 साल मेरी जनरेशन को. आज हमारे पास मिलेनियल और जेन का कॉम्बिनेशन बाई कर रहा है, तो उनकी रिक्वायरमेंट भी मीट करनी है. नहीं तो स्टारबक्स भी फ्लैट होने लगा, चेंजेस नहीं हो रहे. आप नहीं चेंज करोगे लाइफ स्टाइल की हालत, मतलब मैंने नाम लेके नहीं बोलना चाहिए.
आई एम नॉट अंडरस्टैंडिंग.
हाँ, नहीं मैं आगे कुछ नहीं कह रहा हूँ कि भाई नंबर्स क्या है, चेंजेस चाहिए लाइफ में सबको.
Don't record over here. Record over there.
Editing facility है इसमें.
No. But quickly, Himanshu, let me come to you.
I'm sorry I didn't saw you didn't record.
No, it's okay. Yeah, doesn't matter. Don't worry. It's not going to be shared with anyone. Don't worry. But Himanshu, let me come to you. And you know, you've gone into a city. You know, you're doing something massive, which the city's probably not seen before. You know what? Again, let's keep it short. The gentleman over there gave me a note. Keep it short, sir. You didn't keep it short. So I am saying that. What inspired you to do it? And if you had to tell me one project that you saw which gave you this inspiration.
Sorry, which?
I'm saying you're building a project and you're doing 1 million square feet, like you said. Which project inspired you or would inspire you to build what you're building?
Actually, in routine, I visited Delhi for shopping. So whenever I come to Delhi, too, I saw so many cars are coming from Ludhiana and Punjab to shop here from Delhi. आज से पहले पंजाब में pre-COVID.
Then the dickies are always
full. Fill with the. Whenever you are going to any designer ना तो उसे बोलो यार मेरा ये सूट वगैरह सर कल वो अपना खन्ना जी आएंगे उनके हाथ भेज दूंगा लुधियाना ही उन्होंने जाना है परसों नेक्स्ट दिन को बोलो सर वो आ रहे हैं जी उनके हाथ आपको भेज दूंगा. तो whenever you come to दिल्ली तो आपको कुछ ना कुछ आपको आपके सर्कल के और आप वहाँ से पंजाब से बहुत सारी फैमिलीज आते हैं शॉपिंग करने के लिए दिल्ली में. पंजाब में इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर नहीं था, ऑर्गेनाइज सेक्टर्स नहीं थे. कुछ ब्रांड्स हैं पंजाब में पैर रखने शुरू करे जैसे ओमेक्स और सो मेनी ब्रांड्स कम टू पंजाब. स्टार्टिंग में पंजाब लोगों की एक हैबिट थी, वो बाहर वाले बंदे को एक्सेप्ट नहीं करते थे. धीरे धीरे एक्सेप्ट करना शुरू करा तो मैंने ऐसा कि यार यहाँ से तो बहुत सारी जो शॉपिंग है दिल्ली से हो रही है तो क्यों ना कुछ ऐसा कॉन्सेप्ट जो है वो लुधियाना में बनाया जाए. लुधियाना ऑलरेडी सेंटर ऑफ पंजाब है तो 100 किलोमीटर में सारा कवर हो जाता है. 1-1.5 घंटे में आप ड्राइव पे आप कहीं पे भी पहुँच सकते हो. तो डेट वाज द रीज़न कि आई मेड दिस प्रोजेक्ट इन लुधियाना. माई फोकस वाज फॉर द वेडिंग कस्टमर ओनली. तो लुधियाना में जैसे अभी बात करते हैं तो प्रेजेंटली लुधियाना में कोई भी अभी रिसेंटली ब्रांड्स आने शुरू हुए हैं. तो इससे पहले ब्रांड्स ही नहीं थे लुधियाना में. बिकॉज ब्रांड से डिस्कस करते थे वो कहते थे हमारे पास इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर नहीं है जी, वी विल नॉट कम इन स्टैंड लोन. और आपके लेफ्ट में टायर की शॉप है और राइट में पान का कोक है और बीच में मैं बैठा हूँ और सब्यासाची बैठा, तो इट्स नॉट पॉसिबल फॉर अस. सो वी विल नॉट कम टू लुधियाना. वी नीड अ बेसिकली प्रॉपर स्पेस. तो 3-4-5 अच्छे प्रोजेक्ट्स आए जिनकी वजह से ब्रांड का भी जो लुधियाना की तरफ और पंजाब की तरफ हुआ. नाउ पंजाब इज़ ग्रोइंग वेरी गुड. इट्स वेरी प्रेटी मार्केट and it's having very good paying capacity. अगर लुधियाना की बात करते तो लुधियाना is having very good business in cycle industry of hosiery and textile industry. We are running for the biggest industry of Asia is in Ludhiana. So they are minting money. So, but they were not having space to spend the money.
That. But again, my question was that is there an asset that you're inspired from? Have you seen
in Punjab?
Anywhere?
Yeah,
any asset that you've seen in India which gives you the inspiration to build what you're building?
Yeah, I was inspired not only from the India. I roam around 17-18 countries for my project. My designer was Hafiz ji. So when Hafiz ji was designing my project, तो मेरे को ये लगा यार अगर प्रोजेक्ट बहुत अच्छा हुआ तो हफीज जी की बल्ले बल्ले, नहीं हुआ तो डेवलपर ने पैसे नहीं खर्च करे यार, क्वालिटी में कॉम्प्रोमाइज़ कर गया. So I roam around 18-19 countries for the project. I saw so many projects in Dubai and La Valley village and Barchester village, so many villages. तो शॉपिंग तो लुधियाना और इंडिया की अभी रिटेल शुरू हुए अभी तो ब्रांड्स का रुझान इंडिया की तरफ शुरू हुआ. इंडिया हैविंग वेरी गुड कैपेसिटी टू पेइंग. आफ्टर इंडिपेंडेंस वी आर आई थिंक सो थर्ड एंड फोर्थ जनरेशन. पहली दो जनरेशन तो पैसा सेव करती थी, तो अब वाली जो जनरेशन है उन्होंने खर्च करना शुरू करा है. तो अब ब्रांड्स अवेलेबिलिटी होगी ब्रांड्स की तो शॉपिंग भी होगी. सो आई वॉज इंस्पायर्ड फ्रॉम द एम्पोरियो मॉल एंड लुधियाना में अच्छा प्रोजेक्ट है सनव्यू. आई वॉज इंस्पायर्ड फॉर देम. They made very good project. So they are doing very good sales. They generated a hub of food and shopping right now. So I was inspired for them.
Super. Jatin,
Just wanted to understand, since you all are investing so much of money into, places where you're building retail projects, what kind of focus are you all taking on online? Because online share definitely is kind of eating away. So what is it that you all are doing about that? Because your investment, the kind of returns that you're looking at, as Harshji said, unless you're not 300% sure, don't get into it. And specifically with online coming in.
Sir, basically it was a past time जब वो कहते थे ना 20% जो है F&B को दे दो, 80% जो है उसको रिटेल को दे दीजिए. ना टाइम हैज चेंज. आपको रिटेल को 40 और 50% देना पड़ेगा, 50 आपको F&B को देना पड़ेगा. F&B को देना पड़ेगा आपको. स्पेस आपको 50% स्पेस आपको F&B को, बिकॉज F&B एक्सपीरियंस के लिए तो आपको जाना ही पड़ेगा. उसका तो आप ऑनलाइन तो जो जोमेटो से हम कर लेते हैं वो कर लेते हैं, अदरवाइज अगर एक्सपीरियंस लेना तो जाना ही पड़ेगा.
I think what he's saying is that, I think he's trying to make a point saying that, if you kind of move away from fashion and you keep it more F&B centric, then really the customer has to come into the center to experience from that perspective. So Jatin, I'll quickly move to you. Harshji also mentioned that, there is a certain format on which you kind of build.
I'll be very quick, don't worry.
Sorry?
I'll be quick with this.
No, not that.
Worry.
So my question is slightly longer this time.
Yeah.
So, 4 o'clock. So I think the question here really is that, the belief is that you need every kind of development to happen. At the scale of which you're building, and 25 million is, if you're building 25 million of retail, I can tell you there's no developer in the country who has 25 million square feet put together today.
In development or in operation?
Either.
In operation, Blackstone doesn't have assets?
So it won't be 25 million. According to me, Blackstone...
17 is... So that's for 42 million.
No, the 42 million includes includes the building, the parking, the land around it, and some of the neighborhood. It's not hitting 42 million. I would probably say, then if 5-6 nahi hoega, I think it's just about touching 10 in the 18 assets if I'm kind of taking. So I'm saying you're still kind of, and I can tell you they're not buying 25 million square feet anytime soon as well. So I'm saying you're pretty much out there. My point is that with 25 million and, with every day kind of passing by, I think institutional money comes into retail and there are more leasehold assets getting built over a period of time. How do you still keep the assets that you're building? And it's a rhetoric question for which we are wanting an answer. How do you still keep it relevant? Because in a lot of markets, you'll be competing with maybe somewhere larger assets, sometimes leasehold assets. I know some of your assets have great tenant mixes, but I'm saying, how do you keep it relevant? Because at some point of time, my understanding is that in a strata sold asset, you start to lose control on how you can operate the asset and not build quality, but how you can operate the asset because you've got multiple owners. So how do you keep it relevant?
So I think it's a long journey that we've seen. I think DL have seen this similar journey that they started with strata sold model, moved to leasehold. But in our account, we feel that strata sold works well for us. Our finances work really, really well for us. It's a reverse journey of a REIT mechanism. That is what we feel if we're able to generate a greater price today when we are selling it out to public. And if we are able to create a model wherein we keep control and we manage the asset similar to a leasehold property, then it's a win-win for all stakeholders involved in this journey. And I think we have been able to successfully deliver and execute this in one of our properties in Chandni Chowk, which today is around 95% already sold and 100% controlled and operated by us, wherein the investors are extremely happy with how the leasing team has done, how the operations team has done, how the asset is being managed, how the footfalls are coming. And that is the first display of how we are looking to manage all our commercial properties in the future. There have been, of course, a lot of projects in the past where we were not able to get that control because of X, Y, Z reasons, as you mentioned.
And that's learning in process, right?
Correct.
I mean, somewhere you started, you learned along the way. I think the idea is where you are today rather than, what you've done in the past.
Correct. How we want to move forward is with control. Significant control of how the property will shape up, how the people will come in, what kind of tenant mix is going to be there, what kind of target are we looking at, what kind of people are going to come shop over there, what kind of events are going to happen. So all those things are being taken full care of. There's a separate team put to it. There's an attention. The reason I'm here sitting on this table, I'm not worried about just the leasing team is here, because I'm very happy selling off these properties at 9-10% assured return and sitting back at home making money. But and the group is damn serious about how we want to make these properties work, and we don't want to make a fool of ourselves again. So clearly there is merit in both the models.
You can't build this kind of square footage if you've not done something right, no?
Yeah, and again, the major agenda of being over here is actually to learn more than tell anything from us. And the questions I would want is ask the questions that I can probably tell you from the experience, and maybe you can make more meaning out of it than
you can answer. You can ask a question to yourself and answer it, and I'm happy to hear that as well. I mean, I wanted to keep this more open, but it's seeming
no.
like
So
more
one
a
question I
panel
was hearing Bipin ji earlier also. I think there was a project you did with just ground and first, and that you mentioned that that was a learning for you, and probably concentrating a retail over ground first, second, third would have given you higher trading density than the ground.
No, so I think Jatin, just to put in perspective what he's saying, I think what he said is, I think he still probably believes that the design that he built was outstanding. I think what he's trying to say is that the retailer did not value the cost that he put into the design. Sometimes it's like, आप resi banate ho, location A and location B. I mean, one is more expensive than the other because design could be better, build could be better, anything could be better. I think his problem was that people did not value it. I don't think he's saying that the design was fundamentally wrong anywhere.
I'll answer that for him because I was one of the first retailers to sign. See,
It's not working.
Switch on the mic.
The other one is right next to you.
You're a listed entity, right? You're a listed entity.
Yes, correct.
So, how does your sort of stock price respond to a starter sale model versus vis-a-vis from
But
an
Bipin,
investment
it's like
point?
selling residential, right? You have residential developers who are listed. So you're at some point, but at some point it's a turnover game, I'm assuming, right? I mean, it's very similar to Resi. I mean, it wouldn't make any difference. Yeah, it's the same thing. I mean, you have to show growth in, sales pipeline from that perspective. I'm just answering on your behalf, but I'm assuming that's what it is.
We don't make those losses in GST if we are on sold model. I'm guessing that helps our books and investors happy.
Completing. Thank you. So coming to Bipin's, your question to Bipin as to, whether he regrets it or not of doing another level. I was probably one of the first retailers to sign a very large space with him in the Coimbatore Mall. Beautiful design, as Anuj just said, lovely. But the problem is that, when a retailer looks at a beautiful design, the honor of a beautiful design is still not given in India to the developer. Let me be very candid and open. Now, there are times when I've heard people say that, I'm sorry, but I'm just saying this, that we are in select city क्योंकि select city से अगर निकल जाएंगे ना बस तो फिर public बोलेगी तू select city में धंधा नहीं कर पाया. So it was more, I have seen companies paying money from their marketing budget towards rental of select city walk. Okay, now coming back to Bipin. So Beautiful mall, beautiful space. The first guy to literally land down there, sign the dotted lines, take a 70 or 60,000 square feet. Me and Vinay came to sign that. But unfortunately, retailers also do not pay that much of attention ke boss itne अच्छे mall में हमने लिया है. What is the kind of marketing that we're going to do? What is the kind of penetration? So it's hand in hand between the mall owner and the retailer, which I think Harshji, and I have seen Harshji doing this over the years. ये सुनते सबके करते खुद के, ठीक है ना? तो ठीक है ना? तो नहीं, it's a very good thing. I'm complimenting. So the point is that he's very, very particular. He'll sit with a retailer for 2 hours, listen to everything that the retailer has said, and then say, "Sir, जगह जब मिलेगी तो बताएंगे." So you get my point, because he's very clear who he wants. Similarly, I think the retail, that is where the disconnect is. And I'm sure that disconnect is being felt by everybody. The disconnect is that there is a certain want that the mall developer has because he's done a great design, he's done a beautiful project, he's doing A, B, C, D, blah, 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 blah. The retailer, from that point of view, as I said, the retailer is still a शादी का घोड़ा. 5 retailer को sign करवाओ, 6वां, 7वां, 8वां, 10वां, सब लाइन पे खड़े हो जाएंगे हर वेडनेसडे या ट्यूसडे मीटिंग के लिए, ठीक है ना? तो correct. So the point is, I think even from the retail point of view, I think there is a gap where people have to understand that the way that a mall operator looks into the details of a mall, I think the BD development guys and the CEOs of retail companies also should look at each and every site so that whoever signs in that mall, the mall becomes a success.
Can I just quick one, sorry. When we signed, or when we started Aurangabad, we signed with a certain multiplex operator, not you. They walked out because of 2009 Lehman Brothers. It was their design. No other multiplex operator was wanting to take that design because of the step and this. But the issue was, when you sign a multiplex, you sign a 21-year-old, but they give you a 3-year lock-in or 5-year lock-in, which is built to suit to their requirement. So, and our UK partners used to always say, this is the strangest thing we've seen in India. In UK, if you sign 21, your lock-in is 21. There's no this whole bullshit about 21 साल का agreement होगा, 3 साल का lock-in होगा, ये India में है. I don't know who started it, but that's one of the biggest issues today of leasing.
Everyone here other than Devang will be happy if it's a 3-year, 10-year, 3-year lock-in. But let me finish this round here, Sudhanshu. Hopefully we're at least getting done with one round with you. Developers started off being real estate providers. Let's say 2000 to 2010, it was pure, landlord-tenant kind of relationship. Maybe 2010 or a little after that, up till 2020, and now retail moved from being just a piece of real estate to becoming social infrastructure. What's the next step of retail? Which direction is it going to go in the next 10 years?
So, the space where we are operating right now, I don't know how many of you know that space. It's Noida, Greater Noida kind of a space. And that area, when we actually entered in 2019, had a lot of negative stories all around, and especially the overall confidence of the retailers were not there. And I understand a lot of people there were mostly driven by the sales, strata sales kind of a situation, without realizing that the sales is again a consequence. That consequence is primarily based on what is the kind of vision you are actually putting forward, and whether you have this ability to actually execute that vision. So those successes were not there in that market, and the kind of space which we inherited, it again was a negative project, and we took it over in 2019 October. So it was a 25 acres of IT mixed use space, and we primarily actually looked at it more as a space which is which provides a social space people actually engaging with that space in a manner where they would like to, spend time there without even having that thought whether they are there for, some purchase or buying and stuff like that. So there we can see that departure, because most of the other spaces in that vicinity, they were being developed with a thought that it is more like a mall space, and people engage through entering into the basements and then emerging into a space which is very artificial. And therefore that outside area and how we actually interact with the green spaces and all this, which does not exist. And that's where we need to, as a developer, we need to put in more effort to actually create those spaces where people are actually engaging with the environment also. Not exactly a space which is insular in nature, where you are actually cutting people off from the outside environment and actually you're just creating something which is more artificial. It is largely to answer the question which you asked, which is rather to create more social space, and it is something which is more engaging in nature, and that's how the retailers also will have to design their experience also, which interacts with more. I mean, for example, if we go to European countries, it is less of the it is more of the outer space engagement which they actually provide.
But that's also to do with a lot of with the climate, right? I mean, climate in Europe is very different from climate in India. But we've got
but then if you have large spaces, you can actually create a space which again gives you both kind of, if it, I mean, for example, the two projects which I am developing, these both are 25-acre project, and that's where we think that we can actually create some of these experiences which doesn't cut people off from the outside surroundings. For that matter.
No, perfect. Guys, I'm thankful we finished one round. We've got about 15 minutes. I had a rapid fire. Hopefully in the next 14 minutes, I want to do one quick round. It's a rapid fire, guys. Quick answers. Sudhanshu, since I came to you last, I'll probably start with you. Which is the one Marvel character you would take as a mascot for your mall?
I hardly know any character except for Captain America. So
he's the guy always running in the open anyways.
So maybe create a Marvel character with Captain India kind of a scenario and put him up there with a shield.
Devang can help you with that. Yeah. Bipin, I'm going to come to you. Your dream mall feature, which doesn't exist yet. Can you take the mic?
Recently got hooked on to ChatGPT. So if AI enabled, we can create something which sort of in a way dovetails the retailer, us, and everything through and consumer, of course, through a AI enabled environment where we can push promotions, etc. through that journey is something which I'd like to sort of look at how we can take it forward.
But let me ask you one more question, and it's not part of this. You're the only guy getting the second question because of what you said. Do you think in the future is AI good, or is it partially good and also bad?
So let me put it this way: there is no choice. So unfortunately,
that's a different thing. There's no ideal world scenario.
If you ask me, in a balanced AI environment, 100% good. I mean, I was never a ChatGPT guy till my children have pushed me into it. And I was with our creative agency recently. They came up and they've set up a vertical in a media agency, which is AI. So I'm saying people have to imbibe that.
I think we'll all stop using our brain beyond the point if we keep going ahead with AI. But let's leave it at that. Devang, I'm going to come to you. One movie that perfectly captures the future of retail. This is in the syllabus, so if you're not prepared, it's a problem.
Wildfire. So I think, one movie you're saying that one is that I'm looking forward for in the future or no?
No, one movie that captures the future of retail.
Well, Ramayana. So that's something which, you know, I mean, because now that we don't know the future of retail, Ramayana is something which is coming up with the Indian heritage, which, you know, going back to basic. So I think that's what I see is going to happen in the
But
next
I'll be
decade to
honest.
come. Yeah.
When in life you go wrong, go back to the basics.
That's where we are currently.
Good. Harji, the one thing that instantly elevates the retail experience.
I will again say it's basics. Keep the basics intact.
No, the one element.
Element. Okay.
The one element that instantly elevates the retail experience.
I'm big fan of heights, first of all. If we keep the height of the
Heights. Sorry.
floor heights, now I'm coming with 18 feet height.
But you usually keep 5 meters also, if I'm not wrong. Right?
5.3 now we're coming. And the best element in particular Delhi NCR to keep the AQI in control. If your mall is less than 100 AQI, so you will be able to keep people for more time.
I'll just.
हाँ जी तभी तो मॉल में रहना चाहिए 100 से कम सो दैट क्या बच्चों के
आदमी
साथ
घर से मॉल क्यों जाएगा फिर तो ऑनलाइन शॉपिंग कर लेगा
So
एक्चुअली अगर मॉल में 100 से कम है और मैं डिस्प्ले कर देता हूँ जगह जगह लाइक ओबराय होटल डस कि आपका AQI 60 है 65 है तो खासतौर पे मॉम्स को लगेगा कि यार बच्चों को ज़्यादा टाइम यहाँ लगाना चाहिए सो दैट कि उनका कम से कम जो लंग्स हैं वो थोड़ा सा अच्छा ब्रीथ कर ले तो मैं ट्राई कर रहा हूँ नेक्स्ट मॉल में कि मैं AQI को 100 से कम रखूँ
I'll just quickly share a quick anecdote, rather a counterintuitive outcome. 2 years back, City Walk invested 10 crores to put in filters in the entire air conditioning system. We are right now maintaining AQI of between 50 to 80 compared to outside 1,000 or 500. Yes.
However, at 1/10 of the AQI.
Yeah.
So let's say how.
So we promised 80% lower than what is outside. It is there. When we started marketing about it, and when we started putting banners, it started getting us negative publicity. And I'm just sharing it because, Harji, since we are an open forum and we are all developers here,
I thought the campaign will be if you want to breathe, come to Select City Walk.
We never expected that. We even put an ad in the paper that outside is this, City Walk is this. There were trolling that started happening that the people who are driving consumerism and the cause for pollution in our country are marketing low AQI in their mall.
I'm telling you, Kejriwal would have started it.
No, I'm just sharing, something which is a live case study. Yes.
It goes against you.
So,
Somebody there will find a
which mall would otherwise invest? I mean, operating mall, a place like 10 crore rupees हमने खर्च करे, and it started getting us negative publicity for all the wrong reasons. I mean, it was very,
the most expensive 10 crores you spent. Jatin, let me come to you quickly. One thing that tier 2 cities do better than metros?
I think tier 2 cities have genuine end user demand a lot more. There's curiosity, there's aspirational value, which is far, far above tier 1 cities. So I think, the consumerism there's a massive scope out there, which is possibly, saturated in tier 1 cities, and which is left to be unexplored yet.
I think it's more like unlocked aspiration.
Actually, I wanted to put a question to the whole panel. I really haven't understood the concept of mall yet. I feel it's a box of air-conditioned building with probably 50-60% of the same tenants around in every.
And he's the guy building 25 million.
Stay foolish, stay hungry is my motto. So, want to keep, of course, taking the bets while.
We can all on this table come at a paid assignment to your
What is your question correctly, brother?
So the question is to understand, because we are moving to a lot of tier 2, tier 3 cities, there is a ethos of those cities in terms of the consumerism. अगर हम वृंदावन जा रहे हैं तो वृंदावन में अलग तरीके के पकवान बनेंगे, चाय बनेगी, अलग तरीके से वहाँ लोग आएंगे, अलग तरीके से कंज्यूमर बिहेव करेगा. आप इलाहाबाद जा रहे हैं जहाँ पे इंडिया की आधी पॉपुलेशन अभी पहुंची हुई थी 2 महीने पहले, तो वहाँ पे अलग कंज्यूमरिज्म दिखेगा. सो वी आर बिल्डिंग दीज एसेट्स. हमको इस बात पे बार बार डाउट होते रहता है कि हम लोग वही 50-60% सेम ब्रांड सिमिलर ऑर्गेनाइज्ड इंडस्ट्री ऑफ मॉल ना छाप दें. वी वांट टू वर्क हार्ड टुवर्ड्स कीपिंग द एसेंस ऑफ दो सिटीज एंड गिविंग देम द राइट एजुकेशन एंड द राइट इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर फॉर देम टू ग्रो थ्रू आउट इंडिया. कि मैं चाहता हूँ कि वृंदावन का जो हलवाई है ना, वो मॉल में भी आए, हमारे रिटेल में भी आए और हमारे प्लेटफॉर्म से 10 मॉल्स में और जाए.
आप क्वेश्चन और आंसर दोनों दे रहे हो. अभी आपने पूछा था कि I have a question to the audience, that's why.
Since he is a panelist and he's asking a question as a host, let us give a little bit of the knowledge that we understand. I think the first thing, which I think you said great, my opinion also is that, in my opinion, no two malls can be the same. Because they all service different people, different micro markets, different geographies, different demographics. So I think you've got it absolutely right there. Now, there are two parts of the story in my mind. You know, one, you're saying that can we build a mall which is giving a more organized local flavor? But my flip is that if I want to eat something which is local, I think the fun of eating that local food is in the local market. The second I eat that local food, and they're different consumers, in a very organized space, the fun of eating that food may go away. I think what the consumer in maybe a tier 2 city may be wanting, he's actually coming to a mall because he's got an aspiration and he wants to move up the curve. How do you make him move up the curve? Sometimes it's when you go beyond local and give him what's available nationally in that city and not necessarily give him local in a better way. So that's probably my view on this subject, that he's actually looking to come to a mall to get something better than what he's already getting and not getting the same thing in a better way. I don't know if that answers part of your question that you're answering. So probably that's, sorry, does that answer your question? Yeah. Okay, perfect. Okay, I'm going to move Kunal ji to you. Quick one. What's the biggest mistake developers do in retail? One biggest mistake.
See, there is a...
Sorry, Salil, I've got the wrong name. I think it got replaced.
Kunal has missed, so I'm here.
Yeah, but sorry, I had Kunal written in my notes because he was the original panel.
Yeah. So I was there in the morning, he was there, but he missed. Sorry, I was there. So the fact is, there is a word called appropriate. We have to have an analysis of appropriate footfall, like he said. Footfall at the Mall of India, say, I shouldn't, sorry, now not naming the name, one of the biggest mall in Noida, is different, and a similar kind of mall in Agra will have different aspiration, different mix, and different analysis. So appropriate footfall, like he used that word. There is a footfall and there is an appropriate footfall. He has to done an analysis of the appropriate footfall and requirement of the appropriate footfall. That analysis has to be synchronized with his aspiration, brand mix, and the aspiration of the...
But इसमें सरल जी mistake क्या है? I'm trying to, my question is, what's the mistake malls do? How is footfall versus appropriate footfall a mistake?
See, देखो, I'm coming. अभी तक का जैसे दिल्ली का सबसे एक जो पहले मॉल बना था उसमें मैं इन्वॉल्व था, जो बहुत अच्छा शुरू हुआ और बिल्कुल खराब चला गया.
That's the story with a lot of malls.
Yeah. क्योंकि हमने खरीदा, हम बहुत खुश हुए, पैसा भी मिला, बनाया, निकल भी गए, पर मॉल की ऐसी तैसी हो गई. तो हमारा ये था, हमने अपना इंटेंट चेंज किया. तो मुझे ये लगता है जो आप करें ना, डेवलपर क्या करते हैं, जो बिगेस्ट मिस्टेक ये लेते हैं, हम अपनी इंटेंट एनालिसिस, जैसे सर ने बोला, कि उसको एक लंबा चलाने की, अब हम जो कर रहे हैं, हम मॉल को बिल्कुल उसका ब्रांड मिक्स की भी चिंता नहीं कर रहे हैं. हाउ वेल can be operated in a sustainable manner.
Got it. So let me take your answer, and since this is rapid fire, you're saying the biggest mistake developers made is they don't think of longevity. Can I say that? Nimish, favorite retail street in the world?
I could give a couple of, so Oxford Street, maybe. And
No, let's stick to one. And why?
Sorry. I think the whole vibrancy of it. Again, it's a mix. It's the crowd, and it's the experience and the weather also. So the weather also adds to why does so many people from Delhi, Bombay, and everywhere land up there. The June आपको दिल्ली के लोग वहाँ ज़्यादा मिलते हैं. Then you will find them in Delhi. But
I see a lot of them in the Goa casinos as well.
Possibly. So, no, but I think and again, over the years, Oxford Street has been evolving. So I think just the vibrancy and the dynamism of it, every time you go, you find a different vibe and culture and different set of people there. So
The vibes change, man. Lot of pickpocketers now on that.
possibly. I haven't been for a few years.
Huh? Oh, I'll give you some really crazy stories that I've kind of heard over the years. Peayush, one quick one. An emerging trend you dislike the most?
Emerging trend. So, not particularly AI. Yeah. So I believe that what I dislike the most in malls. So I would say that online shopping, which is gearing pace, and people like using Zomato, Swiggies and all. So that is discouraging business to the retailers, eventually affecting us also as a developers, because
But is it also creating more awareness in the consumer, which is why he's also partially coming back to you?
no, actually, yes, that's true, that awareness is there in the consumers, that if you it brings them ease.
It's exactly 4 and I've got one question to go.
Yeah. So bring them ease, that's why they are using that. But yes, obviously, because that's not in good interest of the malls, of the retailers. So that's why I don't like the most. Though I'm using myself.
Perfect. The last question was for him and he's on the phone. Himanshu, last question, and thankfully I finished 2 rounds with that, is that what's been your favorite retail campaign?
Favorite retail campaign? Our campaign is very beautiful. Yeah, हर बंदा अपनी तरफ से पूरी.
Sorry?
Everyone is doing their good campaigns in retail. So,
सोचिए.
everything is good, brother. हर एक का अपना
चलो,
अच्छा
done.
campaign होता है.
Take it done. Guys, quickly, we've run out of time. I'm thankful we could finish 2 rounds. Thank you very much.